Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk some boxing. So, Max Kellerman says how pound for pound he thinks Manny Pacquiao is a better pound for pound boxer than Floyd Mayweather, at least ranked higher in the pound for pound rankings in terms of this era. And his argument is built around something that I think I'm going to explore in this discussion today in this video, okay? Now, underneath that video, there's a gentleman. I'm going to highlight his name, Jean Gauthier. I think I got it right, maybe not. But Jean Gauthier, he says something. He says the late Emmanuel Stewart even said that Pacquiao fought the best and never backed down. According to him, he is the pound for pound #1. Check his interview with Jim Lampley after Haddon's fight. Now, I already disproved Max Kellerman's premises under which he builds his argument, but I like that Jean Gauthier, who's a very passionate fan of Manny Pacquiao, how he tries to argue his point. He says that Emmanuel Stewart says that Pacquiao fought the best and never backed down. According to him, he's pound for pound #1. I'm going to address Jean Gauthier, and I'm going to address Max Kellerman, and I'm going to tell you the reason why these guys actually identify with Pacquiao so highly. And then I'm going to draw other references and comparisons so that you guys can understand where this all comes from. Because everything that surrounds Manny Pacquiao, and even everything surrounding Floyd Mayweather, is actually a blueprint that was set a long time ago. So let's start off with Manny Pacquiao. What people like about Manny Pacquiao is his personality. What people don't understand in boxing, to be a PPV star or a pay-per-view star, you must have personality. Mike Tyson had this destructive personality. You felt like if he just got in the face of a camera or something, he'd destroy it. Sugar Ray Leonard had that beaming, hopeful, golden boy personality. Oscar De La Hoya had the golden boy personality. The persona of I am good, I'm everything that is good morals, and yet I'll fight for you. You think of Muhammad Ali, he had a lot of personality. Alright? Now, Manny Pacquiao has such a personality. Every time people see Manny Pacquiao, the persona that he portrays to the public is one in which people identify with, and therefore they like it, and they buy into that persona. Floyd Mayweather also has a persona, and it's one that, generally speaking, what he portrays to the public annoys them. So the public would not like his persona. They find he's too brash, he's too loud. He even does certain things. You would go do something and you would start to identify with him. Ah, yes, he's a person like me. He's a cool dude. And then you just go out of the clear blue sky and you hear some news on him that's just contrary and annoys you and makes you angry and makes you think, man, if this guy's ass could just get whooped in the ring, somebody beat this guy down. So, where do these personas come from? Where does the persona of Floyd Mayweather come from? Where does the persona of Manny Pacquiao come from? I draw your attention to Muhammad Ali. Young Cassius Clay, in order to attract crowds and to get attention, he said some controversial things, and he also was able to annoy the public. At the time, the United States of America was segregated. And so the young Cassius Clay, as he explained in one of his videos, which you can go and watch on YouTube, he decided to play the role of an actor, and he began to act. And he made himself outspoken, he made himself braggadocious, he put on certain attributes that at the time were not customarily associated with the black person. He spoke things that black people wanted to say, but they wouldn't say. And he got a lot of hate, and people came to see his fights to see him get beaten. In the segregated world at the time, they said, let's go see this loudmouth nigga get beaten. You talk too much, nigga. And every time they went to the fight to see him get his ass whooped, he would whoop the other guy's ass. And so it built up this anxiety and tension. And everything that you see Floyd Mayweather doing, in fact, Floyd Mayweather's game plan was to be outspoken. The game plan was to put himself out there, let his skills do the talking, but also to talk up a storm, to bring up controversy, to bring up things that would bring forth a certain ideology so that people who were not spoken for would be spoken for. He kind of represent a group, a demographic that has not been properly fully explored. And that's the same thing Muhammad Ali did in his time in the 60s. So people hated Muhammad Ali and they wanted to see him get beaten. And when he beat Sonny Liston, they said, no, Sonny Liston could never get beaten so easily. It had to be fraud. It had to be fake. A fix was in. Haven't we heard this before with Floyd Mayweather? A fix was in. And Ali came back and he stopped Sonny Liston even quicker. And he said, and every time Ali won, he'd just get even louder. It didn't matter if the crowd, it didn't matter if the crowd was booing him. His ego was off the charts. He would be going, I am the greatest. And he was just outlandishly, he was just I mean, Ali took it to a whole other plane back then. Muhammad Ali was really, really outspoken, even more outspoken than Floyd Mayweather. He was, this dude was talking about he was better than Joe Louis. He would whoop Joe Louis, and he hadn't even become heavyweight champion of the world, okay? And he was like, I am so pretty. The dude pressed on everybody's nerves. When a dude saying, I'm so pretty, nobody can touch me, and all everyone's thinking about is, can we just beat this guy down, shut him up, right? Even the interviewers used to say, well, why won't you keep quiet? And he would just talk more. Muhammad Ali was quite and then the other thing that is very interesting about Floyd Mayweather and Muhammad Ali's career, and that's why we know Floyd took from Muhammad Ali's blueprint, is that Floyd Mayweather Jr., he was Pretty Boy Floyd to begin with, right? And then he changed his name to Money Mayweather. And guess what Muhammad Ali did? He started off as Cassius Clay, and then he transformed his name into Muhammad Ali. All right? And all of these things, the Islamic community was seen as negative and all of this and militant, and Muhammad Ali identified himself with them. So it was just a whole bunch of controversy. And people saw that Muhammad Ali was just a braggart, and they were, every time they wanted him to get shut up, they got proven wrong. Now, in Muhammad Ali's career, as he moved forward, as he moved along, and mind you, Floyd Mayweather borrowed from Muhammad Ali's blueprint. That's why Floyd Mayweather keeps on saying, I give tribute to the legends that come before me, because they paved the way for me to be where I am today. He always uses that line, right? I'm going to show you something, because there's much more to this than meets the eye, and it's not just about Floyd Mayweather. Now, Muhammad Ali, he would go on to be cut out from boxing. His license was debarred because he decided that he was not going to war against the Vietnamese, the Viet Cong. And that stand, at first, man, everybody came down on Ali. Everybody came down on Ali for this stand. And Ali stood firm to it. People thought it was just a gimmick. They always thought of Muhammad Ali as a shallow person, a.k.a. people still think of Floyd Mayweather as a shallow person, right? But they didn't understand that Muhammad Ali, while he was going around doing seminars in universities and so on, talking on different aspects of life and philosophy of life, people started to realize Ali was much more than the persona portrayal of him. And that Muhammad Ali had a lot of depth and substance to him. Later on in Muhammad Ali's life and even his career, he expanded more on these principles of life, and how he very cleverly used the antagonistic nature of people to bring forth truths and humor. And he also was able to bring people who hated him to see him, because nobody was going to see this black person, this black fighter, fight with all his skill and ability if he didn't create a persona that would magnetize people towards seeing him. And it's the very same thing that Floyd Mayweather and his team very cleverly emulated from Muhammad Ali. But we're going to get to Muhammad Ali in the latter end of his career, because that formula is one in which a lot of people love Muhammad Ali. After Muhammad Ali lost to Joe Frazier, all right, people identified with him when he wasn't working, and then after that he came out, got his boxing license, he started beating people again. People realized this guy held fast to it. After he lost to Joe Frazier, one, he was vindicated of his stand not to go to the war, because the war proved to be a sour thing by that point in time, and the Supreme Court overturned the ruling for him to be debarred from getting his license. Sadly, this came after he lost to Joe Frazier. But more interestingly enough was the fact that people respected Muhammad Ali as a true champion after he lost to Joe Frazier, because he showed that he had mettle, he had heart, and it took a loss to Joe Frazier for people to realize that Muhammad Ali was always a fighter all the way through. It wasn't just gimmicks and talk. This guy was really good. Sadly, he had a lot of support going into the Joe Frazier fight, because he had been making lectures. So the younger generation was opposed to the war, opposed to segregationism, opposed to the policies of seeing someone as inferior to someone else. Realized Ali's cause. A lot of younger people as well, the new breed, the new generation, realized that the Islamic cause that he stood for also was not violent. After Malcolm X had been assassinated, after John F. K. had been assassinated, after Robert Kennedy had been assassinated, after Martin Luther and Malcolm X were assassinated, they began to see what Ali actually stood for. And you remember, they had the Ku Klux Klan, all these things, and then you had the establishment. Ali seemed to be going up against the establishment. The world was anti-establishment at the time. They had lost confidence in the governance of the country. They realized there was a paradigm shift, that things that people accepted as true in reality were not necessarily that. So Muhammad Ali represented that, and because of that, he had this big backing behind him. And Ali used to educate people into the depths of not just the philosophies of how he governs life, but also certain things about life, how we should judge one another, etc. He did it in the form of jokes and so on, but he gave also principles of success. So when Ali went up and faced Frazier, people knew the persona of Ali, and then they knew the real person of Ali. The persona of Ali was the gimmick, and then the real person of Ali was underneath that gimmick. And sadly, it's taking this point in time in Floyd Mayweather's career for people to see that, and now they're starting to transition back. Sadly, it was at the end of Roy Jones Jr.'s really successful career that people realized Roy Jones was a very nice guy. His persona is one thing, but the person of Roy Jones Jr. is a different thing. And it was the same thing with Muhammad Ali. And as people got to know Muhammad Ali, as he started traveling the world, as he started breaking down certain perceptions of things, how people see one another based on religion, based on ethnicity, based on color of skin, based on your political affiliation, based on your nationality. As he started to break down those barriers, Muhammad Ali blew up to bigger than boxing. See, to be a superstar, you need more than just your talent or skill in your craft. To go beyond a sport, to become an icon, you have to go beyond, let me say it again, beyond your expertise. And Muhammad Ali, he always said it. Those boxers, you only see them and they're like, you say, I got personality. I got personality. Let me say it again. I got personality. So Muhammad Ali borrowed his personality from off of a wrestler. It was also called Pretty Something. Floyd Mayweather began as Pretty Boy Floyd. He also borrowed the template Ali did and also gave tribute back to this wrestler who said he was pretty because no one could touch his face. It was a white wrestler, by the way. So Ali bought that formula from him. Floyd played tribute back to him in Pretty Boy Floyd, then came later on as Money Mayweather played tribute back to Muhammad Ali, using that same antagonistic, irritable character that presses on you. You want to see this guy lose. He's always in the media. Anything he says, it blows up into a million, and people always follow him because of that. But Floyd, just like Ali, has more layers to him. But now in the second half of Ali's career, people really loved Ali because they got to see more dimension to him. And when he boxed, anytime he fought, they started to root for him. And that's where Ali became known as the People's Champ. That was the second half of his career. And the second half of his career is what Bob Arum took, because he was the promoter of Muhammad Ali, of Sugar Ray Leonard, of Oscar De La Hoya, the Golden Boy, right? He took that second half. This is what he wanted to do with Floyd Mayweather as well. He took the second half of Muhammad Ali's career, and that he had actually cultured, and he used that to shape Manny Pacquiao, who we here today is known as the People's Champ. And you notice Manny Pacquiao, he always has this humanity about him. This is what the persona is. I'm saying the persona. Let's separate the persona from the actual person. The persona of Manny Pacquiao is one who he cares about humanity. He fights like a beast in the ring. And that's the part of Manny Pacquiao that guys like Max Kellerman, that guys like Emmanuel Stewart, that guys like Jim Lampley, like guys like Jean Gauthier identify with. But that's the latter part of Muhammad Ali's career. And Muhammad Ali set the framework for people to know that. He went on all of these campaigns, telling people about Islam, telling people about religion, telling people about how we need to deal with each other in humane terms, not judge people on race and class and culture. This is the part of Muhammad Ali that people loved. So when he became heavyweight champion of the world again, beating George Foreman, the whole world raved for him because he seemed like an underdog. It seemed like George Foreman was going to beat him and pound him into the dirt. He seemed like an underdog. Manny Pacquiao, when he goes into certain fights, he seems like an underdog. It seems as if the odds are against him. Even though Manny Pacquiao and his team has already calculated the odds are not against him, as Muhammad Ali did when he calculated with George Foreman, but nonetheless, it seems that way. So it's very incredible. It's very sensational. Muhammad Ali had a lot of sensational fights, and a lot of people came to enjoy it. The second fight with Joe Frazier, the third fight, the Thriller in Manila. All of these fights made Muhammad Ali not only supplemented his persona, but more importantly, Muhammad Ali had gotten out there. He had been to every single country of the world. He had been talking to people outside of boxing. People got to know him as a person. That's what HBO did so well with Manny Pacquiao. Made you think that he was this, well, they got you to know him as a persona. They got to buy into his persona that he was this humanitarian. He's this person that cares for his people. He cares for the people of the world. And that's the icon that we have of Manny Pacquiao, which is the latter end of Muhammad Ali, which made Muhammad Ali the superstar that he is. That's what made Manny Pacquiao also the superstar that he is. He's a killer in the ring, but he really cares about people once he's outside of the ring. That's what they borrowed, that blueprint from Muhammad Ali. They used that blueprint on Oscar De La Hoya. They used that blueprint on Sugar Ray Leonard. They used Muhammad Ali's blueprint, the latter end of his career. They used that blueprint. Sugar Ray Leonard still is invested in causes for diabetes, for whatever cause you have. Sugar Ray Leonard also has a heart for people. He really genuinely cares about people. Manny Pacquiao genuinely cares about people as well, and he's a politician in the Philippines trying to make a difference. He's also doing movies and so on. The template of Muhammad Ali has been implemented for Manny Pacquiao. The template for Muhammad Ali was used for Sugar Ray Leonard. The template used from Muhammad Ali's latter end of his career is used for Oscar De La Hoya. So you guys can get to understand, Floyd Mayweather took the template from the early part of Muhammad Ali's career. But I want to tell you something else. Bob Arum he's a genius. Bob Arum took the best of Muhammad Ali, what everybody loved and identified with him, gave it to Manny Pacquiao, the persona, and then he took the best of Floyd Mayweather and he gave it to Manny Pacquiao. He rode on Floyd Mayweather's coattails in the sense that, and it's a very smart idea, don't ever reinvent the wheel. What he did was he said Manny Pacquiao loves to play basketball. Then he talked about Manny Pacquiao being one who he could hit and he would not get hit. Then he started talking about anything that you praised Floyd Mayweather for, he would praise Manny Pacquiao for. So he borrowed off of Floyd Mayweather's template and rode Floyd Mayweather's name, and it's really Bob Arum that dragged this thing out and made it successful. Because if you think about it, Floyd wanted to fight Pacquiao in 2010. It never happened, but it just so happened that things worked out that when they did fight in 2015, it was big. It was a big fight because Bob Arum was able to show that Pacquiao took a loss like Muhammad Ali, and he bounced back. He was able to get knocked out cold and bounce back. Every time Manny Pacquiao lost, he bounced back. He lost to Timothy Bradley, he bounced back. Not only did he bounce back, but he eventually lost twice to Timothy Bradley. If he lost to Eric Morales, he bounced back. He beat Eric Morales twice after that. Now he lost to Marquez, but he had beaten Marquez a number of times before, and he still has the majority of wins, right? So at the end of the day, you never count out Manny Pacquiao. At the end of the day, you never count out Muhammad Ali. At the end of the day, you never count out Danny Garcia. At the end of the day, these are underdog fighters, right? At first, people don't like them. But if they keep on winning, or even if they do lose, people will start to back them when they see that these people, they keep on coming back. Don't count them out. And Muhammad Ali was such a fighter. Now, as to the statements made by Jean Gauthier, believe it or not, these statements are not new, Jean. These statements were also made by supporters of Muhammad Ali. In fact, supporters of Muhammad Ali said that Muhammad Ali, he always fought the best. He never picked and chose his opponents. And now we get to the part of my video where I try to separate myth from reality. That the legacy of a fighter sometimes is filled in myths. So let's start off with Muhammad Ali. Let's listen to Muhammad Ali as he's in this interview. Shout out to Old School Ball as he talks about the opponents that he would pick and his team.
Looking so sad about, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right, what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm gonna get a drink of water. I'm late getting on, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talking about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe will tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I went on a Bum of the Month tour.
Bum of the Month? I would have been a bum compared to you.
Well, you've been on the tour.
You know.
We've heard so many reports about who you're going to fight next. Who is it going to be?
Well, Ernie Terrell is in line for the next shot. Then Doug Jones, he could be next. But we're really debating over who the Louisville sponsoring group thinks will be the best as far as money is concerned financially. We would like to fight the best man. The public, most of the people are talking about Ernie Terrell, and we think Ernie Terrell will be the best contender. And plus, he's ranked number 1. And after Terrell, 3 months later, I would like to take Jones, and I would like to fight about 4 times a year. That way I can keep up with Joe Louis. You know, most of these champions are they like Sonny Liston, ex-champions like Patterson and Johansson only fought once a year. And I would like to do like Joe Louis did, a bum a month. That way I will stay active and don't get too lazy.
Yeah, I know. You know, when I listen to these things, you know, people make these guys into legends. That is really true. They are legends, don't get me wrong. But it's really funny hearing these guys banter with one another back in the day. It was just hilarious. Nonetheless, my point anyway is this. Muhammad Ali is picking. They're looking at, their sponsors are looking at who to pick that would rake in the most amount of money. At the end of the day, it was about finding an opponent that you can have the most amount of money with. Now, to address the statement that Muhammad Ali, he only fought the best, he never had choices about fighting bums, let me spread that statement all the way across to this statement here by Jean Gauthier. Excuse me while I clear my throat. Jean Gauthier says the very same. He said that Pacquiao fought the best and never backed down. So let me just get it. I know it's Emmanuel Stewart said it, but I'm gonna just get to it. Because, you know, you fans, man, you guys go into absolute statements. You guys have no idea what you're saying. So you just heard Muhammad Ali say they had to pick who the opponent would be. But the nice thing about it is, Muhammad Ali, for the most part, did fight guys of a certain ranking. But let me just make it abundantly clear. Let me just cut to the chase right here. When Muhammad Ali became world champion, Became world champion when he beat Sonny Liston, okay? Alright, he beat him twice, right here. See, 1964, and then he beat him in 1965. It was once a year, right? Then he fought Floyd Patterson the second time that year, alright, and he beat him. Now, all two of these guys, bona fide, okay? George Chuvalo was the #1 contender, bona fide. Let's just roll through it. Henry Cooper, bona fide. He's actually in the rankings. Brian London, way down the rankings, but still he was bona fide. Mildenberger, same thing. Cleveland Williams. I want to show you something. You permit me to show you something? Let me just say, Cleveland Williams in 1966 was not ranked in the top 10 heavyweights in the world. Period. Right? That was something that Muhammad Ali and his team picked. Okay? Now, when this interview happened that you just saw with Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali, they were talking about Ernie Terrell. This is when he fought him in 1967. Okay, it doesn't say the time of this this video. It says it here. Okay, it is 1966. Okay, this is after Muhammad Ali had knocked out Williams. Okay, he had knocked out Williams. So after he had knocked out Williams, Cleveland Williams, he then went on to face Ernie Terrell. And that's when Muhammad Ali and his team, they were thinking about what was the best possible opponent that would bring the most amount of money. Because everything comes down to money. And it was Ernie Terrell in 1967. Okay? He was the top 10 ranked. In fact, I think he was the #2 ranked guy in the world. He was the #1 contender at the time. He did not go on to face Doug Jones, who he had faced earlier on in his career. Instead, he faced Zora Foley. Zora Foley was in the top 10. He wasn't highly ranked in the top 10 at the time. You can go check the rankings in Ring Magazine. Just go check the year before. So if you fought him in 1967, just go check 1966 to see Zora Foley's rankings. I think Foley was down the line in 67. Okay, he wasn't the top opponent for Muhammad Ali to face, but he faced him. All of these guys so far, I said, except for Cleveland Williams, was not top 10 ranked. Right? I'm telling you this for a reason. Even though it was a heavyweight championship fight, alright, Cleveland Williams was like the bum of the month club kind of dude. I know you guys don't like to hear that, but it's true. He did beat Zora Foley. He did beat Zora Foley later on, okay, in his career, but Zora Foley at that time wasn't top 10 either. Okay? I'm just telling you guys right now. So, Cleveland Williams was not a top 10 heavyweight in the world. People say he was avoided, blah, 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 blah. But every time he fought a guy who was worth the while, like he did fight the former heavyweight champion of the world, okay? I think he fought both Patterson and Liston, and they both knocked him out, okay? Just letting you know. Now, yeah, back to what we were saying. So he went on to fight all these guys. All of these guys were top 10 guys, all of them. Joe Frazier was the lineal champion. Jimmy Ellis was a top 10 guy. Alright, faced Buster Mathis, was not a top 10 guy, but at the time he wasn't world champion. Okay, it was an NABF title he was defending. Alright, now notice, with Jurgen Blin and with Mac Foster, he did not defend the NABF title. You know why? Because these guys weren't worthy to defend the NABF title with. These were fights that Muhammad Ali and his team picked again. So, we talked about Cleveland Williams, Jurgen Blin, and Mac Foster were opponents that Muhammad Ali picked to fight. They were not mandated fights because the commission did not think they were qualified to fight Muhammad Ali. George Chuvalo was, Jerry Qualley, not Alvin Blue Lewis, who was a straight up bum. Okay, there ain't no other way to say it. It was bum of the month kind of stuff going on there. All right, that's 5 of them so far, if you were paying attention. Right? So let's keep it going. And there's more. Now, I'm not going to call Bob Foster a bum because he's not. But clearly, this brother came up from light heavyweight and serious weight disadvantage and fought Muhammad Ali. I can't give Muhammad Ali credit for that. I can't. Yeah, he was the #1 light heavyweight. He wasn't no heavyweight. If anything, I give Bob Foster all the credit in the world for moving up in weight, put on a competitive fight against Muhammad Ali. He ain't no heavyweight, man. We can't give him credit. We can't give Ali credit for that. That's 6. Joe Bugner, the fact that this is not an NABF fight should tell you everything you need to know. In fact, that interviewer said, Ali, why are you fighting? Howard Cosell was like, why are you fighting Joe Bugner? And Ali was like, I'm playing for Joe, man. He got the shot. Ali picked him, right? Okay, so that's at 6. Rudy Lubbers is 7. Again, it's an uncommissioned fight. And listen, go check out Rudy Lubbers' record. Go check out Rudy Lubbers' fights. He's not a top 10 heavyweight in the world. I know Muhammad Ali wasn't a champion or anything, but it wasn't even commissioned by the NABF, man. That's 7. All right, let's keep it going. Now, he became world champion again. He had beat George Foreman. He fought a lot of good people, but please, somebody, explain to me why this dude was fighting him. That's 8. That's all I'm going to say. Again, just go check the records. Was this guy ever a top 10 heavyweight in the world? No. That's 8. Then you got Richard Dunn. That's 9. Okay. I'm just telling you guys right now. All these other guys are cool. Leon Spinks was a top 10 heavyweight in the world. I don't know how, but I'm going to include him in there because the dude had no experience. And if you look at his resume before he faced Muhammad Ali, I don't even know why this dude was facing Muhammad Ali. I don't know how he got ranked so high. Forget all of that. Just before he fought Muhammad Ali, right? Before he fought Muhammad Ali, he fought an undefeated fighter in Alfo Rekhiti. Okay, undefeated fighter. I ain't mad at him. But he got no experience whatsoever. Scott Leduc, Brad Scott, these are all journeymen, low-level journeymen at that. I mean, they did match him in tough early in his career, but I just don't get it. Anyway, he was ranked number 9 in the world at the time, contender. Muhammad Ali faced him and lost. Believe it or not, he lost to this dude. I don't know. I know he was a good Olympic medalist. I know gold medalist. I know he was good, but I mean, come on now. This crazy, man. This is just crazy, okay? It is what it is. In short, what I'm telling you is 8 people Muhammad Ali fought when he became world champion until he wasn't world champion, which he should not have fought at all. Those were all stay busy fights. Those were all fights where he picked those people, okay? Also, in the top 10 heavyweights of all time, sometimes he picked some guys lower down the scale than not the next in line. He didn't fight the next in line. He fought some dude lower down the scale. Again, it had to do with money. What made sense to the sponsors? Right? You guys heard me? Alright, cool. So, let's divorce myth from reality. Muhammad Ali, for the most part, say that, fought opponents in the order that they were in the heavyweight division. He tried his best. Well, it seemed as though they did that. But he didn't always face the best possible opposition he could face. Alright? Let's go to Floyd Mayweather, because it's a myth as well with Floyd Mayweather. He fought the best. Only the best he fought. He fought some best. Yes, he did. But he too, like Muhammad Ali, did fight a couple bums in the process. So let's get down to it. Let's get down to it. We're only talking when he became world champion. We're not going to talk before that. It's not fair to either Ali or Mayweather. So he became world champion. He fought the number 1 super featherweight in the world. Give him props for that. The number 2 super featherweight in the world he fought after that. No, the number 5, sorry. The number 5 super featherweight in the world after that. That's true. But right after that, he fought, I think, 3 consecutive bums. He fought this guy, and this guy. 3 bums. He fought a legitimate dude who was ranked in the top 10. I think it was 9th or 8th or something like that. And then he fought another bum, which is number 4. Keep track with me now. Then he fought Diego Corrales, who was the number 1 super featherweight in the world above Floyd Mayweather. Then he fought Carlos Hernandez, who was not ranked in the top 10. He was a good fighter. He went on to become a world champion and all of that, but he was not ranked in the top 10. He's not a bum, but he was not ranked in the top 10, so that is number 5. So Jesus Chavez, Jose Luis Castillo, absolutely. Victoriano Sosa, number 6. Philip Endu, number 7. There was absolutely a lot of better opponents than those guys, right? DeMarcus Corley, nope, he was good. He was in the top 10. Harry Brussels, that is number 8. Arturo Gatti, okay, he's cool. Sean Bay Mitchell, that is number 9. Okay? Zab Judah, He's good. Carlos Baldomir, good. Oscar De La Hoya, good. Ricky Hatton, good. Juan Manuel Marquez, good. Shane Mosley, Victor Ortiz, Miguel Cotto, Robert Guerrero, Saul Canelo Alvarez, Marcus McDonough, Manny Pacquiao, Andre Berto, believe it or not, was not ranked in the top 10. That's 10. So Ali had 8. Mayweather has 10 guys not ranked in the top 10. Now, of course, with Muhammad Ali, some of them guys definitely wasn't supposed to fight him, right? Mayweather's in the whole other category with respect to that. But that's not the point. The point is, because you should exclude Carlos Hernandez and you should exclude Andre Berto. That would bring it down to 8, right? But still, at the end of the day, irregardless, you can't say that Floyd exclusively fought the best. Yes, he fought the number 1 guys in his respective divisions. I get you on that. I'm sure Ali did the same thing for the most part. But he didn't, as a rule, just fight the best all the time. It's not true. Or even top 10 best all the time. It's not true. And the same case is for Manny Pacquiao. Same thing. Became a world champion right here at flyweight. Right? He fought Chachai Sasuku, who was at the time the number 1 flyweight in the world, because Mark Two Shot Johnson went up the following year. Alright. And after that, he fought Todd McCallum. He nobody. Gabriel Mira, nobody. Medgoin Sinsarat, nobody. Alright, that's 3. Then you got Reynat Jamili, that's 4. Arnel Barotillo, that's 5. Sun Kong Che, that's 6. Nadal Hassan, that's 7. Hey, these are not top 10 guys. Now, Nadal Hassan was no slouch, right? He was no slouch, but he wasn't top 10. All right, so we can pull back Nadal Hassan just like how we pull back with Carlos Hernandez and Andre Berto, right? We can pull back on Nadal Hassan. So that's 7, I think. What I say? Oh, we can count it right here, man. It's right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6. Then you got Tetsura Senrima. All right, that's 7. You got, I can't even pronounce this dude's name. This is 8 right here, okay? Lejo Ledwaba, he was good. He's number 3, I think, in the world. Agapito Sanchez wasn't on the list, but he was good. He was a world champion. All right. Jorge Eliezer Ulio, he was a former world champion. We got 8 here. We got 9. This wasn't top 10, but I'm trying to remember if he was a world champion. Nah, this will be 10. But he's undefeated. I'm gonna let that slide, right? So we still at 9, right? Then we got Marco Antonio Barrera, that's good. Marquez is good. Fast and 3K Battery, that's 10. Eric Morales, Hector Velasquez, that's 11. Eric Morales again. Oscar Larios, that's 12. Eric Morales. Now Oscar Larios, he was a former world champion though, so it's up to you if you want to include him or not. I'll leave Oscar Larios alone, right? So we still at 10. All right, Eric Morales, Jorge Solis. Was a good fighter, undefeated. We'll leave that alone. Marco Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez, David Diaz, Oscar De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, Miguel Cotto, Joshua Clottey, Antonio Margarito, Shane Mosley, Juan Manuel Marquez, Timothy Bradley. You know, Timothy Bradley was coming up in weight. Do remember that. Juan Manuel Marquez, Brandon Rios. That's 11. All right. Timothy Bradley Jr., Krista Algieri. Again, how can you give this guy credit for a guy who is underweight? You know what I'm saying? He's coming up in weight. You shouldn't. Same thing we did with Bob Forster. Same thing we should have done with Juan Manuel Marquez. We leave it alone. 11, right? Floyd Mayweather Jr., Timothy Bradley, and Jesse Vargas. So all of those other guys are good, but still 11 guys. Manny Pacquiao fought. You say he fought the best. He didn't fight the best all the time. He had some stay busy fights. He had 11 stay busy fights. If you exclude the guys who have reasonably good records, even though they're not top 10 or they were former world champions. With Floyd Mayweather Jr., same thing. You know, Carlos Hernandez, he became a world champion. Andre Berto, he's still at 8. Muhammad Ali, you know, you saw what he fought. And those guys, there's no excuse for them. You know what I mean? None whatsoever. So, and he had 8 as well. So all I'm saying to you is that when you look at these guys, yeah, they for the most part fought the best that they could possibly fight. In fact, if you really compare Floyd and Muhammad Ali's records, because Floyd was champion for so long, he would have fought more top level, really top tier opposition than Muhammad Ali did. I'm talking about top tier now. I'm talking like top 5, sometimes even top 3. He's fought more of that than Muhammad Ali did, and more fresh top 5, top 10 guys, because he never really repeated. He never went back and had rematches, because in Muhammad Ali's time, it's basically the same pool of guys kept on getting to the top spots. You know, Foreman, Frazier, Norton. You know, so Ali ended up fighting these guys, Chevalo. You know, these guys kept on rotating around, so Ali would end up fighting them over and over again, with fresh blood thrown in there every now and then. I think it was the same thing for Leonard's era and for Duran, Hearns, and Hagler's era, right? You get the same set of people recycling around. But when it comes to Mayweather's era, you had, you know, sometimes fresh blood in there mixed up with the top. It still had a top pool of guys, and still a top pool of guys fought one another. But the point is, you got that more. That's why Mayweather, he didn't have to fight a guy like 2, 3, 4 times, and then he beat the guy comprehensively. Why would you go and fight him again? You know, there's no point to that. But I'm just saying that, you know, you had these guys who fought top level opposition, yes, but at the end of the day, they also fought some substandard fights that you wouldn't expect them to fight, and then just stay busy fights just to keep them active till they fought another opponent. And you see their stay busy fights are more or less round about the same amount of stay busy fights. I mean, Pacquiao got 11, Mayweather got 8, Muhammad Ali got 8, you know, and it's around about the same, right? So when people talk about comparing Pacquiao to Mayweather, he fought the best and never backed down and blah 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 blah. No. So did Mayweather. You're not really saying anything. So did Muhammad Ali. And the other thing that really, the real root of where all this stuff is coming from is because a lot of people identify with Manny Pacquiao. They like the persona that is portrayed about him, and so they automatically side with him. They also like how he fights, you know, and they like the thrills that they got from him being an underdog and astonishing everybody by beating opposition that people assumed he was not going to beat. A lot of boxing is about hype. You know, when Sugar Ray Leonard fought Donnie Lalonde, nobody thought that Donnie Lalonde was coming down all that weight. He was losing a whole bunch of weight to be able to fight Leonard, coming down from 175 pounds to 168 pounds. Leonard's coming up. If you're coming up in weight, generally speaking, you're still going to have your quickness, your speed, your dexterity, and your stamina. All right? Leonard moved from 160, and he moved up 8 pounds, right? He didn't make 168. I think it was like 164, 163, something like that. And Donnie Lalonde came down. But everybody knows if you lose all that kind of weight later on in the fight, not early on in the fight, but later on in the fight, you're going to have problems. And that's pretty much what happened. Lalonde was dominating the fight early, but as he started to take the punishment from Leonard and as the fight went on, that weight loss that he had played a big role in him finally getting stopped by Leonard, even though he had knocked down Leonard and dominated him early on in the fight. So, in those kinds of scenarios, people just didn't expect Leonard to be able to be beaten by Donnie Lalonde. So people were looking out for Leonard. They cared about Leonard. Same thing happened when Leonard fought Hagler. People thought he was the smaller guy coming up in weight. And this is the same kind of storyline we got with Pacquiao versus Oscar De La Hoya. People thought there's no way Pacquiao's beating De La Hoya. It's just too big, too strong. But they never thought about the fact that Oscar had to come down in weight and how much it would cost him to be able to fight a Manny Pacquiao. So a lot of times people think, oh, Pacquiao's the smaller guy coming up in weight, not thinking that the bigger guy got to come down in weight. And it's usually harder to lose weight than it is to gain weight. Meaning, you do a weight loss, you're so dehydrated you don't rehydrate properly. It actually hurts you. Whereas putting on weight is something that if a fighter, generally when he goes into a weight, he rehydrates to 148 pounds. Actually, it's easier on that fighter than having him to have to lose weight. So people never thought about it that way. But when you understand boxing, now you see, oh, this is what's really going on. But this stuff, it's got the sensation, it's got the hype behind it. You know, you think about all the fights where fighters had to lose a lot of weight. Even Sean Porter, as fit as he was, he got knocked down by Adrian Broner in the final rounds of the fight. And the reason being, when you lose that much weight, it does affect you. It does affect you, especially in the later rounds. And Porter got knocked down by Adrian Broner, not because Adrian Broner had a lot of power, but because of the weight loss he had to lose. Even though he was very stringent on it, that weight loss is going to affect you later on in the fight as you start to dehydrate, as you start to lose water from your body because you expended so much energy. So people don't know these things, you see. And I'm not going to use it to blame people for these things. I'm not going to say, well, it's because he had his weight loss. No, you signed the contract. You signed that deal. Mika Cotto, you signed that deal. So it ain't an unfair shake to you. You signed that. But even so, where you're losing all that weight, like Terrence Crawford, his last lightweight fight, he knew he had to move up to super lightweight. You don't stick around lightweight. You outgrew lightweight. It's very hard to lose that last bit of water from your body. So Terrence Crawford, Brandon Rios talked about losing weight and how difficult it was for him. Brandon Rios is a naturally big dude. And doing those catch weight things, man, it'll wreck you. So your body is outgrowing certain things. So later on in the fight, you're going to get sluggish, you're going to get slower, and then you could get knocked out. And then when you get knocked out, you can be badly damaged because you're so dehydrated. So again, people don't understand these things about boxing. And I just wanted to say that because this dude, for instance, he has no idea. You know, he listened to Emmanuel Stewart spew a lot of propaganda. And so he's saying that Manny Pacquiao is pound for pound number one because of that. The other guy, what's his name? Max Kellerman, he was saying all the weight classes Manny Pacquiao did is unprecedented. That makes him pound for pound number one. Roberto Duran wasn't pound for pound number one over Sugar Ray Leonard. Why? It's very simple. Devoid of weight class, what were Duran's best wins? What were Sugar Ray Leonard's best wins? How many named opponents Sugar Ray Leonard beat? How many named opponents Duran beat? How many named opponents did Sugar Ray Leonard get beaten by? How many named opponents did Duran get beaten by? That's all you got to ask. Sugar Ray Leonard beat everybody that was a big name back in the day. Duran did not do that. He got beaten by a lot of people who were big names in the back of the day. And he beat one of them in the Magnificent Five. One. Okay. Joe Frazier, he beat one huge name back in the day. Everybody else made him their one-trick pony. Let's call it that. Alright? And it's just what it is. So, at the end of the day, you know, you want to be pound for pound number one. And pound for pound number one means in any weight class, devoid of weight class, this dude's going to beat you. Alright? That's Floyd Mayweather. Everybody knows that. And that's what Max Kellerman doesn't understand. That's what Jean Gauthier doesn't understand. It's not people's opinions. It's based on pound for pound facts. If you and, say for instance, if you and someone else are the same size, which is the case with Floyd and Manny, they were the same weight, they were the same size, it didn't matter. If Manny Pacquiao met Floyd Mayweather at super featherweight, Floyd would have beat him. If Manny Pacquiao met Floyd at lightweight, Floyd would have beat him. If Manny Pacquiao met Floyd Mayweather at super lightweight, Floyd would have beat him. Actually, they technically meet each other at super lightweight because they're basically super lightweights. That's what they are. Okay? They're not really welterweights. That fight you guys saw was really a super lightweight fight. Floyd coming in at 149, Pacquiao coming in at 152. That's the weights of super lightweights, unofficial weights. You go check it out. So anyway, if Floyd Mayweather was to meet Manny Pacquiao at super lightweight, Floyd would have beat him. The point is, Floyd beats Pacquiao not because of his weight. He beats Pacquiao because of his dimensions. He's longer than Pacquiao, and because of that, he has a better reach than Pacquiao. Pacquiao has to get on the inside somehow. Floyd has better footwork than Pacquiao. He has better boxing defense and offense than Manny Pacquiao. Effective offense, that is. And that's the only reason why Floyd beats Pacquiao. He got better all-around boxing skill, ability, will, He's smarter than Pacquiao. So all of these things is why Pacquiao always a step behind Floyd. Floyd's like 10 steps ahead of Pacquiao. That's the only reason why Floyd beat Pacquiao. All right, I said the only reason. It sounds funny, doesn't it? Because that's a big point. So when it comes to boxing, once again, Floyd is pound for pound number one in this era. Freddie Roach said it. Forget Emmanuel Stewart. Emmanuel Stewart's dead. He didn't get to see Floyd right now. When Freddie Roach saw Floyd, Freddie Roach admits that Floyd is the number one pound for pound fighter of this era. He gave it to Floyd. It is what it is. Now, if you want to say that Manny Pacquiao is a much more exciting fighter than Floyd Mayweather, depending on who you're talking to, if you're talking to a casual fan, people who just like action fights and like fights with a lot of drama in it, you're absolutely correct. Hands down, Manny Pacquiao is the much more exciting fighter to watch. His fights are always filled with excitement. Even Maypac was filled with excitement. If you can divorce yourself from the fact that you wanted to see Mayweather lose, once you can divorce yourself from that, you're really going to be in a gripping fight. Very, 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 it's not action non-stop, but it's very tense. It's like a suspense thriller, if you like those kind of things. But at the end of the day, Manny Pacquiao is always in exciting fights. That's not a if, but, or maybe. And that's why people like him. They like him because of his personality as portrayed, and they like him because they like his action-packed style of fighting. When you saw him fight Timothy Bradley, it was action-packed. It was fun. When you saw him fight Jesse Vargas, it was action-packed. It was fun. And that's the thing that people like about Manny Pacquiao, in addition to his projected persona. All right, and those are all blueprints that come off of Muhammad Ali. That's basically it. So what you can get, if you want to say something accurate, you can say, if you like, action-packed fights, man, Manny Pacquiao's your dude. You will get some popcorn and go enjoy yourself. That's how you can defend him, and that would be based on facts, and that's absolutely true. If you say that you like Manny Pacquiao because of the person that he is, again, that's based on facts. That's true as well. But for you to go and try and elevate Manny Pacquiao to pound for pound number one status over Floyd Mayweather, you ain't got no facts to back you up. You don't have. You're trying to manufacture facts like Max Kellerman because he likes Manny Pacquiao. I hear you. A lot of people like Manny Pacquiao. The formula for Manny Pacquiao is one that was set in stone by Muhammad Ali. Even people talk about Manny Pacquiao being like Muhammad Ali. I get it. But when it comes to boxing, you can't say that. You can't say he's better than Floyd Mayweather. And that's where you guys, I understand where Shore Gauthier's coming from. I understand where Max Kellerman's coming from. And Max Kellerman more so because Max Kellerman is for HBO. So he'll try and find anything to promote his man and his brand. Even though he knows Floyd is a much better boxer than Manny Pacquiao, period. But he's still going to go and contradict himself and say Pacquiao is pound for pound number one because of all the weight classes he went through, which is not a good enough reason. Like I told you guys, both arguments are premised on one, that Manny Pacquiao is fighting at the weight that the weight class said he's fighting at. We showed that Manny Pacquiao throughout was at least 130 pounds in every flyweight fight, and that's why he had to come out of flyweight, go up to super bantamweight. And as a super bantamweight, this dude was already close to a lightweight. And then when he did become a super featherweight, when he was a featherweight, actually, he was already a welterweight. And then when he was a super featherweight, he was more so a welterweight. All right, he was a junior welterweight and welterweight at super bantamweight, and then he was a junior welterweight and welterweight at super featherweight. Okay, and at featherweight he was a super featherweight already. So I'm just trying to say that let's keep it real here, right? Dude was super featherweight. I'm sorry, dude was a welterweight from super featherweight already, okay? And Floyd Mayweather, he was a junior welterweight while he was at super featherweight. He was actually lighter than Manny Pacquiao. I'm just being real here. So at the end of the day, to say that Manny Pacquiao was a smaller dude, it don't make no sense. It was a big flyweight. He grew into be a big flyweight, and then he went on to become, obviously, he jumped up 2 weight classes, 3 weight classes, or 4 weight classes, I'm not too sure, to super bantamweight, and then he moved up from super bantamweight to featherweight. Very briefly stayed at featherweight, and then moved up to super featherweight. And while he was a super featherweight, he was already a welterweight by the time he faced Eric Morales the 3rd time, and then by the time he jumped up to lightweight, he was already a welterweight. He came into the lightweight fight a welterweight. So when he jumped up to welterweight, it made sense because he was done already a welterweight. You know what I mean? So there you go. I'm just saying, you guys don't feel a how about it. Nothing wrong with saying Manny Pacquiao is your man. That's your dude. It's all good. You know, I like Floyd Mayweather. I also like Manny Pacquiao. But I like to bring the facts. You guys don't like the facts? Don't tell me I hate Manny Pacquiao. I don't hate Manny Pacquiao. Like I said, Manny Pacquiao is my dude too. I'm glad he's doing well right now in boxing. And again, he continues to thrill people, excite people as he keeps on taking his fights. Let's see where he goes with that, man. You guys have a great one. That's it for me. Let's get